a young horse here that had been in training here about a year ago, and it seemed like over the winter had started developing a habit of every time they wanted to go somewhere with it, it started rearing. And so I've got some of my lines rigged up in a little different way here today to address that issue specifically. And you notice that I do have with me a little motivation, not more than just a flag. And I've got the reins, first of all, run through the front legs and tied up over the saddle, and they're just snug enough so that when she's standing comfortably as she should, they're slack in the rein. So I'm not trying to have them so short that they're holding her head down, but short enough that when she raises her head up, there's going to be some resistance there. And then I've got this line run through the bit hobble and then tied around her neck with a bowl knot so that this knot will not come tight. And it's not necessarily the rein, or it's not necessarily this line that's going to make the fix, but it is the motivation forward. So now we're going to go to our forward motion under pressure, and she stepped off there pretty good, so I'm going to put her under some pressure here, get her to find some resistance and get forward. And what I'm looking for is for her to put slack in those lines as she's going forward and not try to leave out. See, right there in those few steps she got correct. She came forward, she tucked her nose, she went forward, and she was listening. Prior to that, those first several laps around there, she was escaping through the outside boundary. She was raising her head up into the rein and just looking for a way out. See, right there, if you'd have been on her, you would have felt that resistance. So I need to shorten that line up a little bit so I'm not whipping her, I'm just tapping the saddle, but I want to be far enough out there that I can find that. See, she's up against that. There, she got right. Now she's resisting, looking forward. Right here, she's trying to pull away. Now she's right on. Right on. Now the whip has become her friend. And you notice that when I said she got right on, she slowed down at that moment. And the reason that she slowed down here was because she put herself in a position to where she was in the sweet spot, and there wasn't the resistance of the reins, wasn't the resistance of the forward motion, but we had agreement. Now she's going too fast in her hip, not fast enough in the front end. She's trying to find where she can be okay. She's doing more than I'm asking her. Now she's right on. Now she only stayed there for a second, and then she came up into that. I want her to stop and stay flat, not face up. Back up a little bit. See, she's there. Didn't quite get where I was looking for down there, so I'm going to come up here away from that rope and dummy, give myself a little more room, and stop her right here. Now let's go forward again. Get stopped. Just back up. Don't turn. Don't turn. I'm talking so that you all know what my thought process is. Back up. Perfect. I'm talking so that you all know what my thought process is. I'm not talking so that she's hearing me, because she don't understand English. That was nice. Now we're starting to get a look of respect, see? This is a completely different attitude than we had a second ago. And I can soften way up and help her through. I need to stop here and back up. Now let's change direction and let's go forward. Resistance right there. Come on, get up. When she resisted going forward, there was more forward motion pressure. I'm doing more. I'm driving her, saying, get up. Come on, move on. But as I move her, there she got right. There she got right. The reason she stumbled there a little bit because she wasn't thinking. Now she's right on. I didn't ask her to turn. I just asked for the stop, and she's just wanting to face up to me. She's pushing on me a little bit. Pushing on me. Get back. Very good. Staying up against that bit more than she needs to. See, this without motivating forward wouldn't fix a thing, but it's the motivation forward that makes this work. Her whole attitude changes in that forward motion. I don't want her afraid of me, but what had happened is she found a loophole in the process of dealing with human beings that she could go through, and for her that was just popping up in the front end. So if I can get those back feet pushing forward, that's going to keep her front feet on the ground. I asked her to back up and she was going to run through it there. I didn't say change direction. I said back up. There we go. Now let's go forward. I'm going to get here a little bit closer and add a little bit of rhythm to that saddle. The time that I spend here doing nothing, I'm looking at her eye, and I'm looking at her attitude, and if she'll just relax right here and get comfortable, and then let me move her. She looked outside there at that other horse and left me, so that's what caused if I was on her, I'd be using my right leg right here. Get up. Now let's go forward. And I'm tapping on that saddle. That's to add that added sound up there that's going to be kind of real world. If you've ever done much riding outside and rode underneath a tree limb and the limbs hit your hat, that sometimes will spook a horse into leaving you. So if I can expose them into that kind of sound and feel, let her get comfortable with that, she's going to be a lot happier about life. Now, you do not want to do this and turn one loose, or do this for a few minutes without that forward motion, because it is the forward motion that makes this work. If we do this with the reins and turn her loose and don't add forward motion, all we're going to do is load her up on the front end and we won't fix a thing. So it's got to have that forward motion with that communication that generates energy from behind and sends that energy forwards here, lifting in her withers right now, tucking her nose, lifted in the neck, keeping slack in those bridle reins. It's that posture that creates the agreement. So I think she's feeling pretty good.